Hey guys, Deathscyp here from YCG, your casual gamer. Welcome to the last part of this checkpoint system that we're going to create together, a nice particle system. So now that we have two different ways of making player notification, there's always a third one that you see most in most games, and it's the particle system, which is special effects. Now when you click on the checkpoint over here, you're going to notice that there's a nice little particle effect that's happening. And we're going to learn how to recreate this little basic particle system using the cascade editor. I'm not too familiar yet with the Niagara, but eventually I'll get to it, and I'm going to start making tutorials on the matter as well. So stay tuned. Alright, let's get started. So the first thing you're going to need is a particle system. So right click, particle system, call it CP for checkpoint particle, or FX, special effects, whichever you want to call it. I'm inside the particle system season 3 if ever you want to follow along, and then let's double click to jump inside. Now if you don't know anything about particle system and cascade, I strongly suggest you go check my episode on it in season 2. I have an intro to cascade episode and also the basics of the modules that I am linking for you on top over here, and they will be in the link description below if ever you missed the link. So now from there, first thing, we're going to need to set up a material over here. And if you're playing with the starter content, they give you a few to play with to start, a few materials. So the one I like to use is m_flare, and this one over here. And as you can see over here, if we double click to get inside the material, they actually don't have any texture over here. They made it inside Unreal with the Ue4 material editor, and you can see how they did it. It's pretty clever, just to get this little ball shape with a nice fade out on each side. So you can go check it out if ever you're curious, and like me, you like to recreate stuff by yourself. Sometimes it could save you time instead of having to get Photoshop and get inside and make your own little texture. Nice little neat trick. I use this all the time to make most of my particle system. So now you have over here, you can see that it looks like a fire or whatnot, but we want to be able to recreate this nice little twirly little flickery light that's coming out. So first thing we're going to need to do is we're going to need to bring the size down. And since we're playing with PS square, everything's going to be on the x-axis, always facing the camera. So this is what it is over here. Again, I explain all this in the tutorial intro for Cascade, so go check it out if you don't know. And so when we're playing with the size over here, we don't even have to worry about Y and Z, because they're not going to be involved in the calculation for our particle here. So I'm going to put the max to 7 and 5 for the minimum. And I'm pretty happy with what it does now. And everything's going pretty high, so let's lower the velocity to maybe 50 and 5 for the minimum. Why we don't mind, because again we're on the x-axis. We can put this to 5 and not minus. Well, minus should be cool too. Well, let's leave it to this 10 for now. For now, if we want to change it, we can come back to it. So we're going to learn a few new module today to be able to recreate our effect, and also new ways to play with. Because really, I might sound like I know everything I'm doing right now, but the way I create my particle system is really trial and error. I keep just playing with all the settings, trying to put, I don't know, new rotation, new lights, new lifetime, color, just to see what it does. And when I'm happy with the result, I call it a particle effects. But really, that's pretty much, you just have to play around with it. So right now, we want to make that little twirly thing, and one module I like for this is the orbit. And as it says, it is orbiting around something. And you can see over here, it already looks like a little like blizzard happening over here, and like the winds, or like a twirl twister, and it's all going around. And I already like the effect over here, but it's a bit too intense. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to bump it down, maybe put this to 15. Yeah, it's already becoming a lot better. Maybe we could move it in the x-axis too. 10. Oh yeah, that's already pretty cool. So there you have it. You already have your little twirly thing. Now we want to play with the color. And since the material always check this. If you have particle color inside your material, you're going to be able to play with the color inside the cascade editor. If you don't have it, then you won't be able to do it. So keep that in mind. So we're going to be having a constant color since everything is just yellow right away. So we're just going to do a constant color. So vector constant, put this to yellow. All the way up like that. And we're done over here. If you wanted a different effect, you could do it. That's up to you. I am just playing around with settings and showing you how I did it. Now this is good, this is good, this is good. Lifetime, I'm going to put it a little bit higher, maybe with 2 and 3. And as you can see over here, it's constantly playing. So if you've seen my episodes on the matters, I don't want that. So instead of using a spawn rate that is constant, I'm going to put this to 0. Now, don't panic, everything's going to go blank. It's because we're going to go play with the burst list instead. And the difference between the constant spawn and the burst list is just one instant burst, and then it stops after their respective lifetime for the particle. I'm going to make a new one, press on the plus over here, put it to 15, see what it does. 15 is still low. Put it to 25. 25 is not bad, I like it. And for the time, we're good with that, and perfect. Now you can see that it's still going on and on and on, and it's because in the required, you want to put the emitter loops to 1. And then enter. Now you can see that it only spawns once. There you have it. Now another nice module I'm going to teach you about today is the light module. Now be very careful when you're playing with this. I'm talking to people that likes to have crazy particle system. I think I have one over here. I was looking at the documentation for fun. And you can imagine if you have something like okay, I can't find it. So, but if you have something that requires a lot of particles, so right now I have 25 being burst one time. But if I had something like 100 or 500, and each of them add a light attached to it, you can imagine how expensive it would be for your game to calculate all that light. So it wouldn't be good for your casual gamer trying to play your game. So keep that in mind, not to put it too high. And if you are having an immense amount of spawn particle, which you can do in the light, if you want the light to be inside the particle, you can bring the spawn fraction down. And the spawn fraction it's a value from 0 to 1, so 0 to 100 in our matter, 1 being 100, is how big of a percentage you want of your particles to have lights on them. That's exactly what it is. So if you have 500 and you put 0.25 over here, you're only going to have 25% of the 500 that are going to be attached with a light. So nice and little dandy trick. Keep that in mind if ever you're the kind of person using that effect. So now that we have this, it should start looking pretty good. So let's try it out in the scene, see what it looks like. Save. So to bring it inside our blueprint, Control B to get your blueprint, double click to jump inside the blueprint. So now I already added the special effect, so really what you have to do is add component particle system. That's really just what I did over here. I just added a particle system. We could redo it together. Let's do it. Look, new particle system, call it special effect FX or CP effect CP notification notify, and compile and save. And then what I did over here is, let's reuse this, is I went inside the blueprint and I checked this is pretty much where I want the so when you start seeing the message on the screen for the UMG notification for the player that the checkpoint is activated, I want the particle system to happen over here too. So I'm going to do activate over here, and that's it. Voila. Make sure to reset it just to make sure it plays from the beginning of it. And one more thing, when you add a particle system to your blueprint, is you want to make sure that the auto activate is off, like always, or else as soon as you start your game, you're going to see all your particle system fire up for no reason. So you're done with the blueprint. Let's jump inside the screen, the play, and see what it looks like. Oh yeah, the reason we don't see it is because in the particle system you're going to notice that it is not placed well. So you might want to bring it out just so that we can see it. I like to put it right in the middle of the Ue4 over here, and you can maybe turn it around maybe 40, and then let's go grab it, put it here, and then reset just to see, and there you have it. Now you can see it. Now let's go back inside and see if it does, and indeed it does. So now you have your nice little particle effect. Now you notice over here when I was playing it over here that you see everything is flashing a little bit. I'm going to show you guys how to make that little nice flashy effect. It's pretty simple. What I did is I went inside the size in a size by life, and you could play with this and put one, put another one, and add as many points as you want. But I was playing with that the other day, and I fell on vector uniform, and I was like, what does that do? And again, it was just my curiosity, and I went inside and I put this random numbers inside of here. And when I put that, I noticed that it was doing this, and I didn't understand why. And it's because I think that's what it says over here. It's uniform, so it keeps happening. So every click, so every tick, it's always updating a new scale between 2 and 0. So I really like the effect. So I put it to 0.5 over here, and there you go. It makes this nice little flickering effect, like a little special effect. And I like it. There you go. So now this is done. This is done. Anything else? Oh yeah, we're going to do the little thumbnail over here. Double click here. You zoom in. When you like what you see over here, I like that. I click on thumbnail. Ah, I missed it. I click on thumbnail here. And there you have it. And if I go out, now I can see the thumbnail is done. So I know this was an easy little particle over here, but now what I like about this is that now when I jump inside play, I can just, you have everything you need to make a nice checkpoint system for your own game. I mean, right now I have 3 different ways of telling the player how to activate the particle system, the checkpoint. And the other thing is nice is if you wanted to, after you could add text. So like say, oh, would you like to interact with checkpoint? And if you already interacted with it, you could have another text that says, oh, I already interacted with that. And all this has been covered in the season 2, by the way, if you want to go and check it out. And what's amazing with this is as soon as you're done doing the first one, you can just copy paste everywhere in your scene, and you're going to have as many checkpoints as you want for your game. So I hope you enjoyed this. Like always, leave a like and subscribe if you like what you see. And in the next episode, we go back to Season 3 to follow up where we're at. I'm not too sure. I think we're going to be building soon the last part of our level to continue on forward. Have a good day.